Standard business dashboards only show you what has already happened. Today we are going to build an isolated, memory-safe planning sandbox, what Foundry calls a scenario. So, you're going to notice our layout looks slightly different. Off camera, I optimized our workspace, replacing some previous chart with a scenario-aware object table. The newly onboarded operatives do not have failed missions yet, making them invisible on our old chart. So by switching to an object table, any mock records we create inside our sandboxes will dynamically render as a new row, giving our operators instant visual feedback. We also refactored our onboarding button success events. In our last episode, we configured the button to trigger a full screen object view on success. Works with production, but scenarios write ephemeral memory deltas that do not exist in the database index yet, so standard overlays cannot resolve them. To make our workspace planning compatible, we removed the overlay and instead mapped our actions output directly to our table selection. To enable sandboxing, we open our settings panel, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you toggle this to on. This initializes the platform's branching framework and our module. So from this point on, we're going to split to the left and add a scenario manager widget. This widget dynamically forks our active ontology state in memory, letting us build virtual branches of our data. In our property panels on the right, we map our dynamic scenarios to a new scenario array variable. This allows our table and other on-screen widgets to register which sandbox branch is currently active. Now, we want to connect our onboarding button to this planning engine. So you want to toggle apply to scenario and select our active scenario variable. Now our client interface is rerouted. So when an operator runs this action, the new operative record is written exclusively inside the active scenario sandbox, leaving our master ontology completely untouched. But before we go and test, we need to do a few more things to set this up. So we save and publish, and let's switch to view mode. So in our scenario manager, let's create a new scenario. Give it a name like, and now let's go on over and onboard a new operative. Simulation agent. Code name, John Doe. Our real name. Country of origin, UK. Remember what we did in module 4. We'll only be able to view agents that are from UK. For rank, commander. So you apply it to the scenario, and there you go. The object table instantly refreshes and it displays our mock operative as the fourth row, or rather the first row, in the table. So you'll notice a few things are different. When I just ran this, the dashboard cards remained blank, and you see I did a quick little UI change. That's partially because I realized that our standard object view templates were attempting to load the entire ontology profile, including the security restricted fields we locked down in our playlist 4. Because the sandbox record is an ephemeral memory delta and hasn't been indexed in the database yet, the security engine cannot evaluate access policies against it. To fix this, I refactored the layout again off camera and instead have a property list widget instead of the heavy object view, configured to only query safe non-restricted properties. And this allows us to render our simulated data instantly, even while our master security policies remain active in the background. So you're going to notice our edit history widget below still showing an error if I select the agent. And in systems engineering, this is actually the correct and expected behavior. Audit logs and edit histories are queries against the production ledger. Because simulation agent hasn't been committed to the system of record, there's no past. History only begins once a decision is persisted. This error is a visual reminder that we are working in a memory-safe branch where no permanent changes have been made to our organization's truth. But look at this as well. I made another scenario named main. And when you toggle back to that, as this reflects the production, everything instantly clears. So the database is untouched. When you go back to the other scenario, it reapplies the memory deltas and our mock operative reappears. So now you're not just looking at a dashboard, you're interacting with the live shadow ontology. And like this, you can onboard hundreds of assets, adjust budgets, move personnel, and recalculate an entire operational state without ever risking a production data corruption. So, with some hiccups that I didn't foresee, we've established a zero-risk environment for strategic planning, and herein you see that Ontology isn't a static database. It's a branchable, secure, and reactive engine. But there's more that we have to do. Strategic decisions require comparing alternative realities side by side to evaluate trade-offs. So next up, I'm going to try to make a comparative matrix to evaluate alternative plan A versus alternative plan B.